Okay, so let us start. We will continue with where we left in the last session, right? In the last session, we have seen how to create a data series, and we were looking on what are the different types of form in which we can access the elements in a data series, right? So there were two important access mode for elements of a data series. The first one being indexing and the second one being slicing. So we will first understand. Uh, so we will just recapitulate that particular topic again once, so that we can proceed in a better manner. Okay, so accessing elements of a data series. So these are the two important methods using which we can access data series elements. The first one being indexing. Indexing means putting just treating this data series as NumPy array or a Python list where we can index each element of it starting from 0 and ending up to n minus 1, as I have told you in the last class, right? Now there are two types of indexing. We know that the two types of indexing which we can do, indexing which can be applied on data series are: number one, positional indexing. Where indexes are numbered between 0 to n minus 1. And the next type of indexing is what is known as named indexing or labeled indexing, right? So labeled indexing, where we use index names. Index names are associated with series element, and we access those series element with using these names, index names, right? So let us see one example of how to do that. So the first one being the numbered indexing or positional indexing. Let us first find out what is it. So here we are. The two examples are: first is for positional indexing. So we have one simple code to import pandas as PD, and then we can create a series S is equal to PD dot series, and here I can supply values like 20, 30, 40, 50 as a list, Python list, and I will just close it out. And then what I can do, if I'm going to write print S, so this will print the whole series, whereas if I'm writing print S at 2, so what will be the outputs? The outputs, as you know, the outputs will be, the first one will give you the whole series. The whole series will be printed 20, 30, 40 and 50. Whereas in case of this one, the last one, S at 2. So what is the second index? This is 0th index, this is first index, this is 2 and this is 3. So S at 2 means it will go for directly printing the value 40. So 40 will be printed. As we can see that in the position number 2, the index number 2, the value is 40. So that 40 will be printed here. So this is positional indexing, right? And using positional indexing, you can apply loops on this type of indexing, right? While doing this type of indexing, you can make use of what? Loops, to access each and every element in a series iteratively, right? So that you can do that. I have shown you in the last class also. Just let us very fast go to the next example, and that is about labeled index, right? So example 2 is about using labeled index. So labeled index, we give a name to the index and we access the elements using those names. So let us do it. Import pandas as PD, and then we can write here s is equal to, say, PD dot series, and these are the marks which are obtained in various subject by a student: 70, 60, 48 and 95. And these are the index in the labeled index of the subjects in which the marks was obtained. So the first one is math, the second one being science, and so on. The third one being SST, the fourth one being English, and the fifth one being, say for example, the fifth subject, Hindi. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let us go for the next thing. We will just write here s is equal to PD dot series, and after that what we can do, we can just simply access this, but these elements, the marks. So if I am going to print, if the question is print marks obtained in subject science, so this question, the answering of this question becomes very easy, as we know that what the marks are indexed with labels, right? And there is an appropriate label for the science marks, labeled with the name science. So we can use that particular label name science to access the marks obtained by the student in science. So how to do that? So this is quite easy to do. You will simply write, you can simply write what? S at print s at instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, you will simply write what? Science. Okay, so you just name that label, use that label, and as an index, use that label as an index, label name as an index, and you can access the element. Now it will print what? This will output, this particular thing will output what? It will give you the marks obtained in science, that is 60. The output will be 60. As you know that this is the corresponding, this science is corresponding to this particular value, as it is in the second position. So the second label corresponds to the second value in the list. Similarly, the first the label, that is math, corresponds to the first value in the list. So this is so easy, as you have understood. Now one thing that I told you last day to note is that even if you are labeling the series elements, you can still access them using what? Using indexes. Indexes are also applicable because they are intrinsic. They are not inseparable. They are not separated out. So indexes are the inseparable part of a particular series. So you cannot separate them out. Labeling does not reload it. Okay, does not replaces it. Okay, so that is one thing that must be remembered. So still we can write what? Still we can, if we want to print the value of science, if we want to print the value of science or marks obtained in science using indexes, so we can still do what? Print, we can write print s at 1. S at 1 means the index number 1, and that corresponds to 60. So this will also give you the marks obtained in science, that is 60. Okay, so I hope this is understood. There is nothing, no doubt about it. I hope so. So let us just move on to the next thing, next thing. But before doing that, I want you to do this question for me. At least show me if you have understood this particular topic. So just try to do this question. Let me switch on to the board. Yeah. The question is, this is the question. Write a statement. Write a statement to create names of cities index with its capitals and access the third city using index and label both. Chalo, do it. Just show it to me. Just WhatsApp me so that I can just proceed to the next topic. Very fast.
City or state you meant?
Yeah.
You meant state or city? You wrote city, state or city? Which one did you
Okay. Yeah,
mean?
city. I have wrongly written. You can just replace it with the state. Just write a
Okay,
state.
sir.
Well, every city has a capital in its own term, right? So you can do that. Bardwan has a capital, Lord Curzon Gate. Do it. So let us continue as being done by you, and as you have done what you have just written the import uh, Python as P sorry pandas as PD, pandas as PD, and then what you have to do, you have to just simply write states, and you can just simply write states is equal to PD dot series, and you can create a series of states, West Bengal, Uttarakhand, and Bihar, and then UP, and then you can have its indexes as its capitals. I don't know well what is the capital of Uttarakhand. Uh, anyhow, uh, the first one is West Bengal. So the capital is Kolkata. Okay. And what about UK? Uttarakhand. Capital is Dehradun or what? Dehradun, right? So it's Dehradun, I think. And then we do have what? We have Bihar, and that is Patna, and then we have UP, that is Lucknow. Okay, so now we can access, we can write in both ways. We can write what? We can write here print states at 2, or we can write simply print states at, and then the capital name, we can access it. So Patna is there, so the third one is Patna, so we can write Patna. Okay, so that was the question being asked. Now let us move on to the next thing. This is understood. This is, I think there is no doubt about it. Now let us go for the next thing, that is slicing. Let us understand slicing. This is the second method of accessing elements. So accessing elements using slicing. Series element using slicing. Now how to access series elements using slicing? This is a very important topic. So slicing, as you know that in Python also we have a concept of slicing which can be applied over list. Let us just recapitulate in a very simple word. If L is a list in Python, say for example having elements 20, 30, 40, 50, then you can write some syntax like this. You can write like print L, and there you can write colon colon, say for example 1 colon 1 colon 3, and then what it will do, it will slice out slice out elements from the list, from L, starting from index with index 1, ending up to index 3 minus 1, that is 2. Okay, so that was the concept. So what it will print, what output it will give? It will give you output. The output will come a list having 30, 40. Okay, so this was the output of this. So this was the concept of slicing. Now what was the syntax for slicing in the syntax for slicing in list was just list name, write the name of the list name, and then starting index, then colon ending index, and then colon step, means jump, how much jump you want. So that is optional. All of them are optional. Actually all of them are optional. You may or may not write it, you may or may not give the values, right? So we can have various types of slicing known to us, as we have seen in Python. That means we can write a lot of things like this, colon colon minus 1. We can have slicing like this. We can have slicing like this, minus 6 colon minus 4 colon minus 1. We can have slicing like this. We can have slicing like this, say for example 2 colon 10 colon 2. So what does this means? This means just slice out everything from the end, from the last end, right? So since the start and end is not given here, that means what? Since the starting index and the ending index is not provided here, this means what? You start from the end part and go up to the beginning. Since there is the step is in negative terms, so the movement will start from the last end and it will move up to the first one. That means the first element of the list, right? So it will read all the elements from the last end of the list to the beginning of the list, right? So that is the meaning of the first one. The second one is -6 colon -4. The jump is -1. The jump, the positivity or the negativity of the jumps tells us from which end we should move. We should start our move. If it is positive, then we should start our move from the left side, and if it is negative, then the start of the move will be from the right side or the end side of the list, right? Last of the list, right? So -1 means we should start from the last of the list, but the starting index is -6. So we should move from the -6th index. That means from end the -6th one, and from there we should move to the left side of it till we reach minus just index before -4. The index which one is before -4 is -3. Right, from starting from the right side, if we are moving to the left, the first thing that we will get is -3 before, just before -4. So the values will be, the indexes read will be -6, -5 and -6. Yeah, -6. We should start from -6 and go up to -4, but the jump is wrong. Okay, here in this case the jump is wrong because we cannot jump like that. -6 to -4. So you must move, you must give a which type of jump? -6 to -4, that means what? Which type of jump is needed here? Can you tell it? Which type of jump is needed if we are going from -6 to -4? Because we have to add it. No, -6 -1, that will give you -7. So you are just moving to the right side of it. You are moving to the right side of
jump.
positive
Jump.
Positive jump. So actually you are doing a positive jump towards -4. Towards -4 you are doing a positive jump. So obviously this is correct. This will give you -6 and -5. This will give you -6 and -5, I think. If we are moving to the minus end, -6 towards a positive jump, we are doing positive jump. So we have to give here +1 instead of -1. We should give what? We should give +1. Actually the jump should be +1, otherwise nothing will be printed, empty list may be printed. So the jump should be +1. So here we have to give a +1, so that -6 plus 1 gives you -5. -5 plus 1 gives you -4. So from if you want to reach from -6 to -4, you should be giving a positive jump instead of negative jump. So that is the logic that we should apply while we are jumping from a value to another value. We should just see that whether there is a positive jump or a negative jump. That should be the deciding factor of the third parameter, that is the step. Which type of step you should take, a negative step or a positive step. Okay, so this is what is still applicable on the series also. The same thing is applicable on series. Whatever we have done in class 11 on slicing, okay, with slicing on the list, the same thing can be applied on series also, right? So the point to be noted is that the same slicing, the same type of slicing is applicable. Slicing is applicable on list, sorry, on pandas series. Okay, so now let us see how to apply the series slicing. Okay, how to apply slicing on the series, let us see. And in slicing too, you can use the labeled index. That was not the case in list. We were always slicing the list using a numerical index or a positional index, but in case of series, what we can do, we can use labeled index to slice as well. Okay, so we'll see that those two examples. So example and that is the first example is slicing using positional index. Positional index. So let us slice using positional index. Let me show you one example of slicing using positional index. So import pandas as PD, and then you can write say cities is equal to, and then Jaipur, Varanasi, and then Kolkata, Nasik, and then we can have cities, yeah, and then we can have what? We can have a series like S is equal to PD dot series, and here we can pass what? Cities, and we can just index it using index is equal to, you can pass a variable name also, no? Instead of passing the whole list over here, you can just store that list in a variable, and you can pass that variable cities. So index, and here indexing I am doing as A, B, and C, and D, right? Like that we are indexing it. Okay, so now what you can do is slicing the series S using index. So using index, you can just slice it like this. You can write print S dot, and what you can do is just simply write S dot, and you are writing S dot or S, not dot actually, S at say for example 1 colon 4. So what it will give you? 1 colon 4. What it will give you? What output it will give you? 1 colon 4. The output will be, here you can see that the cities are indexed. The cities are indexed as 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? Like this. So your slicing is from first index up to 4. 4 means 4 minus 1, that is 3. So 1, 2, and 3. The values at 1, 2, and 3 indexes will be accessed, and they will be printed. So the series, your series will be, your output will be something like this. Your output will be something like B, C, and D, and here you will be having the names of those cities: Varanasi, Kolkata, and Nasik. Okay, so this output will be given, right? And the D type will be, obviously the D type will be object or something like that, maybe a string. Okay, now object, actually object, because it is a string, no? So we will take object. Now if I'm writing print S, and I'm writing here colon -1, then that will give us what this will give us, what output it will give us? D, and then C, and then B, and then A. So that gives us Nasik, Kolkata, Varanasi. So Nasik, Kolkata, Varanasi, and the first one was Jaipur. Okay, so let us execute and see whether we are correct or not. Let us just execute this in idle and see what happens, whether we are correct or not. So here it is, import pandas as PD, and then I'm writing cities is equal to Jaipur, Varanasi, Kolkata, and Nasik. Okay, and what I am doing, S is equal to PD dot series, and here I'm passing cities with their indexes as equal to A, comma B, comma C, comma D. Okay, and if I'm writing here print S at 1 colon S at 1 colon 4, what does it will give us? Let us see. So it's not there, so we have taken a small s, we should take capital S 1 colon 4, and it gives us BCD as expected, as it was expected. And if I'm writing print S at colon colon minus 1, so as expected, it is counting the things from backward side, back side, that means D, C, B, A. Okay, so those type of slicing, whatever slicing you have learnt in class 11 are still applicable on series. So I would like you to just recapitulate the slicing concept of 11 and apply all sort of slicing, all combination of slicing that you have learnt in class 11 on a series, so that you can understand everything is applicable on this particular series too. Okay, so that's
Yes,
what
sir.
was, yeah, that's what was slicing using indexes, right? But you can, as we have seen, we can do slicing using labels also, means A, B, C, D, the labels. So let us see whether we can do the slicing with labels or not. So slicing the series using labels, or index labels basically. So let us see whether we can slice them using labels or not. So can we write like this? So for labeling, for giving a slicing using labels, we should use the label names in place of slices, in place of indexes, but the syntax, the basic syntax remains the same. The basic syntax remains the same. The syntax is what? This is something new which was not there earlier. The syntax for slicing a series using labels will be name of the series, and then square bracket, and then start label, and then we will have colon, end label, and then we have what, start label to end label, and then we have a jump, a positive jump or a negative jump you may take, Now let us run the code like this: print s, and if I'm writing here, b2 b colon d colon 2, what will happen? What output it will give you? So I'm giving here the label names instead of indexes. I'm using label names. So if I'm doing like this, what will happen? What output it should give you? B to D. I want to go from jump from B to D, and I want to jump from B to D, and jump is two at a time, taking two at a time. So B to D means you have to just jump up to the label name before D. So before D is C, and since you are jumping twice, so C will not come there, no. So I think the output will be only, in this case, the output will be only B, and that is Varanasi. So let us see whether this output holds or not. Let us see whether this output holds or not in the code. So what I will do here, in the same code we are writing, we are going to write print s at, and I am writing here b2 d and taking 2 at a time. Let us see altogether our syntax is correct or not. Let us check it out. So now it is Varanasi and Nasik. It is giving Varanasi and Nasik. How? Is it okay? That means what? This means what? It is not considering, it is not executing the code as it were executing with in case of indexes. In case with indexes, it was executing up to end minus 1 point, right? But here in this case, the D is also included. You see here, the value of Nasik, which is having a label D, is also included in the output. That means B and C, that makes a jump of 2. B starting with B and taking C, that makes a jump of 2. But after the jump you are going up to D, so you are reaching D up to D. So D in that case is also included. But what if I am doing the same type of jump here with indexes? Say for example, if I am writing here index 1 to index 4 and taking 2 at a time, let us see whether the same output comes or not. 1 to 4, I hope same output should be there. 1 to 4, yeah, it is giving the same output, 1 comma 4. Now what does this means? 2 jump, taking 2 jump, that means n minus 1. Okay, but what if I am writing print s at 1 colon 4 and then 1 only? What happens in this case? Okay, 1 to 4, that makes up to end minus 1. That means end minus 1 is not here in this case. End minus 1 is not there in this case. Okay, s at 1 colon okay 1 colon 4. What does this will give? Or say for example 0 colon 4, what this will give us? 0 1 2 3. Okay, 4 is not there. No, I think 4 minus 1, that makes 3. Okay, that is okay. So we have to take here 1 colon 3. If I am taking this, what this will give us? 3 is the index for Nasik. The index for Nasik is 3. Let us see what it gives us. It gives us only 2 elements, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So similarly in this case, 1 colon 4 means what? In this case, 1 colon 4 means what? 1 colon 4 means the jump will start from 1. It will move up to 3. 4 minus 1, that is 3. Okay, and 2 at a time. 2 at a time it will take. So yes, that is correct only. 1 standing at 1, it is printing what? It is printing Varanasi, and then jumping 2 times it reaches to index number 3 and it prints Nasik. So that's very correct. That's not something unusual, right? It is same as that of in case of lists, right? As we did in the list, the same thing is happening here. So in slicing as well as label, if you are using slicing using label or index, they are behaving in a same manner. In a same manner they are behaving. So that means what? If I'm writing print, just yeah, if I'm writing print, and if I'm writing s at Nasik to say the first one was Jaipur, so Jaipur to and the last one was Nasik. So what it will, it is giving us, it is giving us, it is, sorry, not like that. uh, the slicing is from, okay, print s at a colon s at d. Yeah, now you can see it is giving us from A to D. So it is not taking 1 minus D minus 1, that is up to C. But in case of, if I am doing the same thing with S at 0 colon up to the last index is 3, the last index being 3. If I am doing that, what will happen? Only 2 will be printed, up to 2 will be printed. Okay, if I'm doing this, then up to Kolkata will be printed. So this is the difference between labeling and indexing over here. So though it is not very different from that of the list, but between these two concepts there is a difference. When we are using indexing, the indexes are being accessed from 0th index up to n minus 1, whereas when we are using label, it is going up to the last point, the last label which is mentioned. It is not going a label before the last label. Okay, it is coming up to the last label. Whatever label name is given, up to that last label it is going. Okay, so labeling name means you are going for accessing the elements from the first label up to the last label. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, so I hope this is understood, the labeling and indexing, yeah, in case of slicing, right? Now let us move on to the next thing. One question is there, but before that question, let us you make use of this thing. Yeah. Mm, what will be the output of this thing if I'm writing here? Say for example, if I'm going to write s at, if I'm going to write s at uh, just see here, very carefully you observe. If I'm writing here s at uh, b colon c equal to France, what will happen? Can I write like this? And if I'm going to execute this, and after that if I'm writing print s, what it will give us? What it will give us? The same series from the label index B to C, it has been assigned value France. What this will give us? So now if I'm going to print this, so you can see here the first one is Jaipur only, but the next two cities have been renamed to France. That means everything in between B and C is being assigned with a new value called France. So this is what is manipulating using slicing. So while slicing, you can manipulate the values too. So that is very important point to be noted. So let us just jot down that particular thing here. That note is note. We can modify the series element elements values while we slice them. Okay, that means what? That is, we can write code like this one. Say for example, what I've said, that s is equal to s colon a to b is equal to something, say for example xyz. So what output it will give you if you are going to print the value of s? So that will give you s in the first two place. So that modifies the series s, as the series s is modified to the first one being the label a will be having the value, the label a will be having the value xyz, and label b will be having value xyz, and c and d will remain the same as usual they were. That means Kolkata and Nasik. Okay, so they will be remaining same. So the first two values a and b will be replaced with xyz. So you can manipulate the values with this thing also. So this here is one such thing which is given here. Okay, now let us create one series using numpy array. Using numpy array also you can create a series, and you can apply slicing on it. Okay, so that is very important. So that's completing our concept of accessing elements in a series. So you can access elements in a series using slicing and using indexing. Both are applicable to it. And now we are moving on to the next topic, that is properties of or attributes of series. Let us find out what are the attributes of series. So going to our next topic, attributes of series. Now what are the main attributes of a series? So since series is an object in an object oriented programming atmosphere has certain attributes attached to it. Every object has certain attributes, that is their features and some methods or the functionalities attached to it, right? So we are now going to understand what are the attributes of a series object in pandas module, right? So let us find out what are the attributes of series object. So the first attribute, the properties which are attached with a panda series object are known as its attributes, and we can use them with different program code, right? So let us find out what are these attributes. The first one of them being the name attribute. The first attribute is name attribute. What does it means? What is the purpose of this name attribute? The purpose of this main attribute is assign a name to the series. This is used for assign a name. The purpose is to assign a name to a series. This is the purpose of this particular attribute. So let us find out how does we can assign a name to a particular series. So this attribute is a very important attribute. You can name, you can assign a name to a particular series, and you can just have that series with a particular name, and you can just access that series with a name. So let us find out what does it means. Let us find out what does it means by using a code. So let us first create a series. Let us example is what is the use of this particular attribute. First let us create a series called S or something like that. So import pandas as PD, and then you can write S is equal to PD dot series, and you can just write the names of cities. Okay, and then what you can do is you can just simply assign a name to this series S by writing what S dot name is equal to S dot name is equal to, you can give any name to this series. Say for example, I'm giving a name as list of cities, list of cities. Okay, list of cities. So we can just assign it as a name as list of cities. So I'm assigning a name, and if I'm going to write print S, it will show the values as well as the name of the series. So what it will, the output will be, if I'm going to print S, what it will show, it will show 0 1 2 0 1 2 3, and it will show the name of the cities: Kolkata, Varanasi, Nasik, and Goa. And apart from that, it will show you the name of the series, the name of the series which we have given, and the D type. The name of the series is what? List of cities, and then it will give you, after a comma, it will give you the D type. After a comma, it will give you a D type. D type is equal to object, right? So this will be the output of this particular code. So let us just check it out whether the same output is being given or not. So what I can do is just I can write here S is equal to S dot name is equal to uh, list of. Acha, can I use a blank space in it? Let us find out. Yes, I am sure that we can use it. List of cities, and then if I'm going to print S, now it will give you what? Previously it was only showing D type as an object. Now let us see print S. Now you can see here it is also showing the name of the list. It is also showing the name of the list as list of cities, and the D type is object. As you can observe here, the highlighted section, that it is now giving name of the series as well as the object type. Okay, so that's what is the purpose of name. But remember that why this is being needed, you will observe this the use of this in visualization. When we visualize data na, so when we try to convert these data into graphs and charts, these type of names are very useful for us in that particular scenario. In those scenario, when we visualize these things into a graph, no, these names are important. Now at first instance, it may seem that this name is not very much useful, but you will find it useful when once you are learning how to visualize the data using graphs and charts. Okay, so we'll put up that in the coming sessions. Now let us go for the next attributes. The next attribute here is what we are having. The second attribute, the B attribute, is index dot name. So if you can name a series, though you can, thus you can name what? Thus you can name its index also. Apart from naming a series, you can index its index also. So you can give a name to its index also. So this is a used to assigns a, what is the purpose? Assigns a name to the index, assigns a name to the index of the series. So as with in the case of series itself, you can name it, you can name its index also. Okay, so let us find out how how to name an index of a series. So for that example, let us see one example. Import pandas as PD, and you can write here s is equal to PD dot series, and here I am going to write some names or states, actually not names of cities. Now I'm taking states as a, or you can just simply assign the names and states. So I'm writing here West Bengal, I'm writing here Uttarakhand, I'm writing here Bihar, I'm writing here UP, right? And then I'm giving index as its capitals, right? So the capital will be Kolkata, and then we have Dehradun. Let me just stretch out here. Yeah. Dehradun, and then we have Patna, and then we have Lucknow. Okay, so we have written this index, right? Now if I'm going to print this thing, that means if I'm going to print this series, what it will show us? It will simply show us something like this, where we have where we have Kolkata as index, Kolkata, and then we have Dehradun, and then we have Patna, and then we have Lucknow, and we have these WB and UK, and then BH, and then UP, and the D type will be shown as object, right? This will be the output of this particular thing. But what if I want to name this index separately? I want to give a name to this index. If I want to give a name to this index, what I can do is we can just simply write the name of the index as something. We can keep the name of this index as something, or say for example here, what are the indexes? What are the indexes represent? What do these indexes represent? They represent the capital. So let us rename these indexes as capital. So what I can do here is I can simply write here s dot index name, s dot index dot name is equal to capital. So now if I'm going to write print s, so it will show you the capital also. It will show you the name of the index. So let us find out whether it is shown or not. So what I will do here in the example, I will write print s dot index dot name, and here I will write capitals of cities. Okay, something like that, or labels of cities or classes of cities. Since we have in this example we have taken the labels as A, B, C, D, so that represents classes of cities. The cities can be segregated into classes, different classes, and the index mentions that. Okay, so now if I'm going to print this S, what does it gives us? It gives us classes of cities as heading. You can see here the name of the index itself, the name given to the index is the heading of this particular series. The series has got its heading as the name given to the index. So whatever whatever name you are giving to the index, that becomes the heading of the series. Before that we used to have a series without any heading, right? We were not having any heading to this particular series. But as soon as you are giving what, the name to its index, you are getting a heading of your series. So your series got a heading, classes of cities. So it is better to put some a name which is relevant to this particular series. Okay, so whatever relevancy is there, you should put that relevant name over and give the relevant name to its index, so that will appear on the heading, right? So that is very, very important. I hope this is understood. Nothing huge about it. Now let us go for the next attribute. Let us find out what is the next attribute we have in series. So the next attribute in this is values. Now what is the purpose of these values? What is the purpose of these values? Values assigns, it assigns what? It prints the list of values in the series. So it gives simply the names of the elements which are there in the series. All the values of the series is printed as a list. It prints the name of the series values as a list. So it does not represent whatever is in the series as it is representing in the above examples. It will represent the values in the series as a list. All the values will be taken up in a list and will be shown. So what I meant to say is that if you are writing a code like this, print s dot values, what it will show you output? What output will be shown? The output will be something like, it will give you a list, and in this list you will be having all the values of the series, that is WB, UK, BH, UP. So all these elements will be taken in a part of, it will be accommodated in a list, and that list will be printed. So this is what is value. So if you want to convert a series into a list, you can always use values attribute to access it. That means what? If you want to iterate through the elements of a series, you can simply iterate using values also. You can just make use of the values attribute. Values, mind it, it is VALUES, not value, values. Okay, so that is very, very important. Now let us just see executing that. So if I'm going to write for I in for I in and s dot values, okay, for I in s dot values, and if I'm writing print I, what it will show? It will show all the names of the cities, since s dot values gives you what? S dot value gives you a list. S dot values gives you a list, and if you are going to write print length of s dot values, that will give you values, that will give you what this will return you. If you are writing print len of s dot values, what this will show you?
Code.
Yeah,
Is the value will create a list. So
yeah,
number of items in
yeah,
the list.
number of items in this list. Okay, so it will give you 4. So that's it. So if I am going to print s dot values, so simply it will give you a list of all values in the series, taken as a list of values. Okay, so the list will be shown. Okay, I think this is applicable, this is understood. Now let us go for the next attribute, important attribute. And the next important attribute in this continuation is the next important attribute of the series is empty. Now what is the purpose of this? it prints true prints true if the series is empty, or else, and false otherwise. Okay, so now let us see what does it means. It means that if your series is empty, then it will print something, or otherwise it will not print something. So import example is, let us see the example to understand this. Import pandas as PD. Remember this line, no? This line, import pandas as PD. This always will give you half marks in any question. If you are going to write this line in your test copy, you are surely getting half marks. Okay, only this line. So this line costs half marks. Okay, in any question. So import pandas as PD, and if you are not writing it, you will be losing half marks. That is also important. So import pandas as PD, and then we write here as if I'm creating a series like X, and if I'm writing here PD dot series, and I'm passing here say for example empty list, or for that matter, if I'm not passing at all anything, if I'm not passing anything at all, and what if I'm passing here PD dot series, and if I'm giving an empty list, and what if I'm writing here PD dot series, and I'm passing some values inside it, say 10, 20, 30, and now if I'm going to check print x dot empty comma y dot empty, sorry, and z dot empty, what it will give you? What will it show you? What it shows? What it shows?
True, true, and false.
True, true, and false. Okay, let us see what it gives us. You are saying true, true, and false. Let us see what does it gives. So what I have to do, I have to just simply create two series. X is equal to PD dot series, and here I am not passing anything. If I'm not passing anything, it is giving you something, some error is given. Not error actually, it is warning. Now you see here, I think you might have not seen this before. There is something called warning in Python. Warning is something which will not lead to any error for the time being, but it may lead you into trouble in some other part of the code in some future, right? In future it may lead you to into some trouble, right? So that is very, very important here to understand. This is giving a warning, deprecated warning. Deprecated warning means, depreciation warning means, some years ago it was okay, but now there are more new syntaxes which you can use, and you should not use this particular syntax. But if you are using now, no problem, no issue with that at all. Okay, now let us just create y is equal to PD dot series, and here I am giving an empty list. That's okay, that's completely okay. And if I am giving x z is equal to PD dot series, and here I am giving 10, 20, 30, and as you have said that it will give you, if I'm writing f x dot empty, y dot empty, and z dot empty, so true, true, false. Exactly, the same thing is there. So true, true, and false. So you can create an empty series using these two syntaxes. So now you have understood, I think, using these two syntaxes, they both create empty series. They are both creating empty series. So if you are going to print x and y, it will not print anything because it is an empty series. So print this will give you empty series, and print y will also give you an empty series. So this is giving, these two are giving what? Empty series, because they are empty in nature. Okay. So that's very, very important. But the first syntax, remember, it is giving you warning somewhat. So now let us go for the next thing. So this much about all the attributes. So not all the attributes. Actually, if you want to go through all the attributes of a Python Panda series, so you have to go to the Panda documentation. So we have Panda documentation where you can just go through each and every attributes of a Panda series. Okay, so Panda documentation is there, Python Panda documentation is there, right? So you can just go to the Panda documentation and pandas.pydata.org, that is the site, and here you can just go through each and every thing about Panda series. So if you are going just wanting to just go through the all the attributes of Panda series, you can do that here. Okay, so you can just go through the documentations and easily get all those attributes. So better we will just type here attributes of Panda series. So there are lot many attributes, but in your syllabus of CBSE you have only these 4 important attributes, 5 important attributes: name, index.name, values, size, and empty. Okay, so there are many actually, there are many, but yeah. So here it is, you can see, as you can see, there are many attributes, okay, there are many attributes, and we will see them now in the coming days. Okay, we'll see them. So you can just roam through those documentation and you can find out more of them. Okay, so that adds to the advanced study of a series. Now let us move on to the next thing, that is methods of a series. Let us find out what are the methods related to series. So now our topic moves to methods related to series. Now what are the methods which are related to series? Let us find out. The methods related to series is something we have. There are many methods, but we will consider few important ones first, and then we will go to the next thing. So the first method is the first method is, say for example, head n. Now what is the purpose of this head n? The purpose is the purpose for this particular head n is it returns first n members from the series. So returns, what it returns? Returns first n members of the series, and if the value is not passed, if n is not passed, what it will show you? By default it takes n as 5, the first 5 members. If n is very, very important to note, isn't it? If n is not passed, as parameter, not passed, it takes n equal to 5. Okay, by default. So by default the value for n is 5. So first 5 elements will be shown. We'll see that. We'll do that one example on that, or we can just go through an example first. So let us find out what does it means. Let us create one series, writing import pandas as PD, and now we are we will create a NumPy using a NumPy ND array. No, we will create a series. So let us just write here as x is equal to say PD dot series, and here I will just import. I will write import also. We will import a NumPy also because that is also needed. Import NumPy as NP, and here I will write np dot a range. A range is one function in NumPy. NumPy contains one function called a range. So a range gives you just acts like it generates a unidimensional array. It generates a unidimensional array of values between a range of things, just like the range function in Python. the range function in Python was used to generate an iterable list of values, a list of numeric values, right? Just like that, here in case of NumPy, a range function, it generates an iterable one dimensional array of values, numeric values, okay, between two range. So what is the syntax? You have to just pass starting index and the ending range index. So a range, writing a range, I'm writing here 10 comma 20 comma 1. What does this means? It will create 10 values. It will create values between 10 and 20. It will create values between 10 and 20 minus 1, that is 19. It will create values from 10 to 19 with an interval of 1. This is an interval. This one is interval. This is interval. The interval between two subsequent values of this one dimensional array will be 1. So that generates a list of values, a list of one dimensional array values starting from 10 ending up to 19, and the interval is 1. That means 10, 11, 12, 13 up to 19 it will go. Can we generate decimal values between a range of values, or can we do so? We can do so. Okay, using NumPy array. We'll see that in the coming sessions. Now here what I will do here, x is equal to PD dot series np dot arrange, and after that I will just use this x to print the head of n. So if I'm writing print x dot head, what it will show, and if I'm writing print x dot head, if I'm printing x dot head 3, what it will show? Can you tell what this will show and what this will show, the output? The first one and the second one. As I've told you, that if you're not passing any parameter to head, that means empty parameter of head gives you fetches you 5 values from the top, from the head. Head means from the top of the series, it will fetch 5 values and print it. So the first 5, the first 5 values of the series.
The first one.
0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The first 5 values will be 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So this will give you 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. And what about the next one? It will fetch the first
10, 11, 12.
First three values, that is 10, 11 and 12. The first 3 values. So that is the example of head. Yeah, so head does it like this. Now let us go for the next method. Now remember that while we are talking about methods, we should call the method using dot. What is the syntax for calling the method of a series? The name of the series dot and then the name of the method. It is just like we have used in Python. The basic syntax of Python is followed here. The name of the series dot its method, whatever method you are going to use. Now let us go for the next method. The next method in the sequence is uh, after head we have count. We have count method. There are many more methods, but few of them are in our syllabus. We should learn them. Now count method. Now what is the purpose of count method? It returns the number of non NaN values in the series. Non-NaN values in the series. Non-NaN values in the series. Now what do you mean by non-NaN values? NaN stands for null set of values, null values in a series. Now how to set a null values in a series? A null value or oblique NaN values can be generated. Unknown null values matlab which are unknown. These are unknowns. We don't know about the data, but that data may come in the future. So expected data, not known now, but it can be expected later. That's called NaN values. And that's very important for prediction. Data analytics very much leads to prediction of data, right? And when we predict data, there are some missing point. There are some missing data. And Panda can deal with the missing data too by using an NaN constant. Okay, so a null value or a NaN values can be generated using numpy dot NaN. Okay, there is a constant called numpy dot NaN which can generate a null values or not known values, unknown values, right? So that we will use now. Now you see the example. This is very important here. We are going to write a series like S is equal to import numpy as np and import pandas as pd, and then I'm writing here S is equal to pd dot series, and here I'm writing Ravi, Kishore, np dot NaN. I can just write like this, np dot NaN. Okay, and then we can have another name Ratul. Okay, so this is a series, and if I'm going to write here print s dot count, so how much it will return us as per as the description of count goes? As far we consider the description of count, what it will show us? S dot count will show us all returns the number of non-NaN values. Now you can see here we have used a constant numpy constant NaN to represent a NaN value in between the series, right? And that name is not known to us. That can be an unknown person. whose name will come later in the series. So we have taken np.nan. We don't know about him for the time being, but he may or she may come later. She may come later. So what will be the output here? It will be 3, right? Correctly said. The output will be 3. It will printing a non-null values, and that is 3 only here. So let us check it out by executing the code. Let us execute this code. Let me just clean off this idle, otherwise okay. So import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, and then I'm writing here say names is equal to Kabir, Siddharth, and then np.nan, I don't know, and then nan is, I think, is a function. NumPy function is there, and then it's not constant. Well, we will see that. And Ratul. Okay, and then I'm just going to write it here. Now print s is equal to pd dot series, and here I am passing and names names, sorry. Okay, and I'm going to print s dot count. So yeah, it's okay, it's nan only. np.nan gives you null value. So here it gives us 3 because there are 3 non-nan values. Okay, so that completes this thing. Now let us move on to the next method, important method we have in Panda series, and that is tail. The next important method is tail method. Tail. Now what is the purpose of this method? As it is a complementary method to that of head, right? Whatever head does, it does just opposite to that of the head. That means it gives us, it returns us the number of elements from the tail end of the list, series. Okay, so it returns, what it does, it returns the last n members of the series if n is not passed, takes n equal to 5 by default. So from last end it returns you the values. So let us just check it out by writing a code. So if I'm going to write names dot end, if I'm calling name, sorry, not end, tail, names dot tail, then what it will give you? Now this gives us name list object does not have any attribute called tail, or so not names. Names is a list actually. We have to take series, because names is what? Here names is what? It is a list. It's not a series. So this tail function, no, tail method is attached to the series object, not the list object. Okay, so we have to use s dot tails. It's tail, not tails. Sorry. Again, print s dot tail. Okay, now you can see it gives you 5. Basically by default it takes 5. If nothing is passed, then 5. Now since there are only 4 elements, all of them are being printed. But what if I'm writing print s dot tail, and if I'm writing 2, then what it gives us? It gives us nan and Ratul. But what if I'm giving a negative value to this? Let us find out. Let us just experiment. s dot tail, and if I'm giving here -2, what it will give us? See here what happens, it gives us the same thing. Even if you are passing -2, it gives us same thing. It gives us same thing. But what if I'm writing passing -2 with head? What it gives us? S dot head and then -2. It gives us the first two. So negative and positive doesn't matters. Whatever constant you will pass in the parameter, its absolute value will be taken. The sign will not be considered. The absolute value will be taken, and the same result will be appearing. So I hope this is understood. The head and tail and count. These are the three important methods of series object. So you must understand that particular thing. Now let us move on to the next topic, because this is okay. This is over. This was easy thing to deal with. Now let us find out what are the mathematical operations that we can put on the series. There are many mathematical operations that we can perform on series. Some of them are basic mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So we can add two series, we can subtract them, we can do subtraction between series, we can do multiplication between series, and all these multiplication, addition, subtractions are vector based addition, subtraction. That means element to element, between elements it will take up. Now let us go into the details of those. So mathematical operations, we are now going to mathematical operations. On series. So let us find out what are the mathematical operations on series. We can perform basic mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division on a panda series. Now while performing these mathematical operations, one very important thing needs to be cared about is the NaN values, the null values, because it's okay when you are performing mathematical operations between numeric values present in a series, right? But what if the values are NaN values? If you are going to multiply two NaN values, what will happen? If you are going to add one NaN values with a numeric value in another series, then what will happen? What might happen? So for doing that, let us first do one small practical thing. Let us write up code and let us check out what it gives us when we do simple arithmetic addition, subtraction with numpy NaN values. Let us first see that. So let me just write print 6 plus np dot NaN. As I have told you earlier that np dot NaN generates a NaN values, right? So let us find out what does this gives us. So this gives us NaN. If you are adding something to NaN, it gives you NaN. So if a value is added to a null value or unknown value, it gives you an unknown value. The same concept is being used. The same concept is being used in MySQL. It is just like I am having a wallet and I ask you how much money I have. So you will say don't know, unknown. Now if I am adding 10 rupees to my wallet and again asking you how much money I have now, again your answer will be what? not 10. Your answer should be, if I am adding 10 rupees to my wallet whose initial amount is not known to you, then your answer should be 10. No, exactly not
Still
10.
unknown.
Again it will be unknown because you don't know the initial amount. So anything added to that initial amount will give you result. But since the initial amount is not known to you, adding 10 to you, 10 to that does not gives you any value. So again it is unknown to you. So that's why it is again NaN. So if I'm writing print, let us multiply it and let us see division. 6 minus np dot NaN, that also I think will give you the same thing, NaN. If I'm writing print 5 into np dot NaN, 5 times of NaN gives you NaN. And if I'm writing 67 divided by np dot NaN, it gives us NaN. Remember, NaN is not infinity. If that would have been infinity, you could not have written this expression 67 divided by np dot NaN, isn't it? So NaN is not infinity actually, it is nothing, or it is unknown. It's not known. So this was the primary thing that we wanted to do, so as to check what will happen if I am doing some arithmetic operation on unknown values. Now let us go to the series, because series can have unknown values like this, NaN values in this. Okay, respect. So let us see. Let us go into the thing. So now let us consider the first thing, that is adding two series. The first operation is addition of two series. If I'm going to add two series, what will happen? Now addition can be done in two ways. The addition of series can be done using two ways. Now what are these two ways? The first way being simply by putting plus symbol, the arithmetic operator, using arithmetic operator plus. Okay, and the second one is, the second thing that you can do for adding two values are by using what? Add method. So using add method. Now what is the difference between these two? What is the difference between these two? Is there any difference between these two, or there is not any difference? Can you tell? What does this means?
Add would probably add in more index numbers and add it afterwards, and plus would probably add in the elements with each other.
No, not like that. Actually, just what we have discussed. Yeah, remember, a basic operator always gives you fundamental thing. it does not provide your options, right? Isn't it? A basic operator, it's a hard-coded thing, no? Operator is a hard-coded thing inside compiler. So it will always provide you what? The basic operation, not any options with it, right? Whereas methods are being capable of taking varied arguments. They are capable of taking varied arguments, and that does, they can provide you a lot many options, right? So likewise, in this case also, the plus is only for simple addition, and thus it will add the way it used to add two numbers. If you are adding two numbers, two integers, it will give you an integer. If you are adding an integer with a nan value, it will give you an nan. But if you want that, okay, I want that, what will be the result of an integer added with an nan? It will give you an nan result, right? But what if you don't want that? Okay, my nan is there, unknown is there. 1 plus unknown, don't give me unknown. Just let it be 1. Let it be 1. Treat that nan value as 0. That unknown values for the time being as 0. Treat that nan values as 0. If you want to perform this type of thing, you want to reload nan with a new definition. Say 0. Take all nans as 0 and add them with the number to give me a perfect numeric value, not nan. Then the add function will be used. The add method will be used, as it will provide you that option. Okay, so let us see what does it means in detail. So using arithmetic operator plus. So first we will see this, and then we will move on to the next one. Consider this example. Import say for example pandas as PD, and then we have two series A, PD dot series, and here I am writing some of the values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and indexes maybe A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and then we have B is equal to PD dot series, and here I am writing say 10, minus 30, np dot nan, minus 20, okay, minus 20, minus 5, something like this I am taking, and indexes as you like, you can give, no problem. You can give indexes like XYZ or something like that. So X, Y, Z, U, V. So you can give indexes like this. Okay. So these are the two series we have created. Now what if I am writing here print A plus B? What does it gives, and how the result will be given? Print A plus B. What does it will give us? What it will show us? So what it will show us, it will just do simple addition of these two values and return us the result. The first series is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And the second series is 10 minus 30 np dot nan and minus 20 and minus 5. Now what it will do, individually element wise it will do vector addition. This is what is called vector addition. Vector means each individual element wise it will do the addition. So what it will do, 1 plus 10 equal to, it will give 11, 2 minus 30 it will give minus 28, 3 plus np dot nan, this will result you how much, 3 plus np dot nan in plus operator. As we have seen earlier in the example, we did that in practical. 3 plus np dot nan will lead you to np dot it will give you nan, right? It will give a nan value, right? And 4 plus minus 20 gives you minus 16, and 5 plus minus 5 will give you 0. So this will be the output, as you will do what, a plus b. But what if I don't want this nan, I don't want this nan, this nan value I don't want. I want nan to be treated as 0. nan to be treated as 0. And here what comes the use of, where comes the use of what? Add method. Okay, so now let us see what will the add method will do. So the second will be add method, and in add method what you will do, you will write, so using add method to add. So in the same problem, if I am writing print a dot add, if I am writing a dot add, okay, if I am writing a dot add, so you will call the method from using one series object, and you will pass another series object as parameter. So a dot add, you will pass b, and in the second parameter, it has two parameters actually, but the second one is not compulsory, it is optional parameter. The first one is the series which you want to add, and the next parameter is very important and this parameter is fill values, fill underscore value. And this, if this parameter is set to 0, what it will do, and how it will perform the addition. Now the addition will be done as you expected it to be. That means now it will show you the result, 1 plus 10 that gives you 11, 2 minus 30 that will give you minus 28, 3 plus np dot nan that will now give you 3 plus 0 that is equal to 3. Why this will happen? Because you have said that fill value is 0. Fill value is 0 means wherever there is an absence of value, wherever the value is unknown, fill it with 0. Fill it with 0. Fill that value with 0. So 3 plus 0 is 3. Similarly, the all other values will be like that. 4 minus 20 is equal to minus 16, and the last one will be 5 minus 5 equal to 0. So these are the two different ways of adding the series. I hope this is understood. I would request you to just go through this particular exercise and conduct this practical of your own. Okay, just do it of your own. And before just turning off the session, we will just have some questions as homework. So I'm going to give you some homework. So you please do write this homework. These are the homework for you to do. The homeworks are: question number 1 is write a Python program which accepts marks of 3 subjects in 3 different series and then shows the sum of the marks obtained. Remember, a student may absent in one or more subject exams. Okay, so this is the first question. The second question is, in the above question, try to generate a series having percentage of all students. Okay, so these are the two questions that I want you to go through, and remember, you have to take data for 5 or 7 such students, right? So use data for 7 such students, 3 each, that makes 21 entries, and then you have to do this particular task. Okay, so we are signing off this session now for the time being. We'll again meet on the next week, and I want you to go through this particular thing, and in the meanwhile I will give you some questions related to this and other topics which I want you to solve. Okay, so thank you very much. We will meet again next day.